Hello everyone, this is Joanna. Thank you so much for coming back. These are going to be your messages for the month of February 2019. Happy Valentine's Day for those of you who are celebrating. Very interesting energies. Majority of the signs, if not everyone that I've done, has had a lot of information about how to heal our hearts. And my intention is, as always, and I will repeat this again, my intention is to help you see certain things perhaps that you were not able to see before, and to help you perhaps recognize certain thought patterns. My passion is to help you think differently about yourself so that you can align yourself more in terms of abundance. So what a beautiful time to talk about healing our hearts, because February, traditionally speaking, is considered to be the month of love, at least in North America. So there's a lot of information on what might be tripping you up, how you are holding yourself hostage, what makes you stuck in your own inner prison, and what are some of the things that you can do in order to shift and change that, in order to attract love, abundance, prosperity, health, whatever it may be. So in some of the signs, there were exercises that were given to you from spirit, so you might want to listen to the other signs. At the end of the day, keep in mind that we all have attributes of all the signs. So if you're drawn to a certain sign that you're not necessarily one, just listen to your intuition and see if there's anything you can gain from there. At the end of the day, my aim is to help and enlighten you in a way that allows you to become a much more empowered being. With that said, if there is anything that doesn't make sense to you when you listen to it, do listen to it again down the road. I always say these messages will make sense to high majority of you as time goes on. The messages that I give, or the information that comes through, is very much relating to everything that we all experience, human condition. So you may be drawn to a different sign that you're not necessarily listening to, but something inside you says, hey, listen to it. You listen to it, and boom, that's your situation. Anyway, thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. Do let me know how these messages connect with you. I am using a different camera this time, so some of the messages, you'll notice I'm switching between two different cameras. The angles are different on my camera, so sometimes I look in different places, and if that's the case, my apologies. I am not used to this this new equipment yet, so it may not be as smooth as I wanted to, so just bear with me. As time goes on, I will perfect it. Again, thank you so much. I wish you best of luck for, of course, for private sessions. For private sessions, that information is down below for you. And if you would like to see the longer projections for 6 months, that information is down below for you on Vimeo. Thank you again so much. My name is Joanna the Medium. I wish you a wonderful month of February, and let's get going. Hello, beautiful Capricorns. These are going to be your messages for the month of February 2019. As I'm saying this, 2017 is being shown to me, and it's being underlined. For some of you, it's supposed to mean 2017 is somehow very important. Whether it because something substantial transpired, good or bad, or somehow the energy of 2017 is still with you today, or whatever transpired in 2017 is still causing some complications for you. Whatever that means for you, for some of you in 2017 or 2017, beginning of 2018, you may had a disappointment. You may have experienced a disappointment, a loss of a job, a broken heart, a disappointment. Something didn't go your way. You needed to walk away from something. You needed to close a door or something. Whatever this is for you, I feel over the next few months, but it seems to be connected to the month of February 2019. You're going to put a stop to something that has been bothering you or affecting you in negative ways up until this point. The idea of a key is an analogy that's being shown in order to symbolize some sort of a learning or some sort of a knowing, an invitation to an enlightenment. What does that mean? There is an opportunity for many of you to release not only yourself from some sort of a burden, but to also let something go, release something. And let's see if it comes out in more of the messages as I continue. But this is what's being shown to me. I'm being shown a certain symbology, which to me says many of you are arriving at the station. You have arrived at a certain point in your life where you need to get off this train in order to start a brand new journey. For some of you, this literally means that you will be taking trains somewhere else or some other sort of transportation in order to have a new experience. It could be as small as going out of town for a business meeting and something great happens there, or moving and the train symbolizes a journey, also symbolizes being in transit. So definitely a feeling of having been in transit, in transition, going through transition. But that's something I think I say to most of the signs, because we are all experiencing transitions in various forms. This is really interesting month because it's February. Majority of people, at least in North America, think of February as a month of love. And wouldn't you know that at least the messages that I have given to all the other signs, there's an element of healing one's heart. And not only is it appropriate, I'm also recording this at a time where planetary wise there is some sort of a significant alignment that will either perpetuate certain conditions, or if given effort and attention to, though certain conditions will be released or let go of. And we seem to have these windows of opportunity every so often, and I don't know, you know, what's involved in all of this, what are all the ingredients, but it seems, at least what I'm being shown, that when it comes to planetary position, that energy has an effect on us. So for those of you who are astrologers, you will know way more than I do, because I always say I'm not a tarot reader and I'm not an astrologer. I am a medium. That's what I do. I am a vehicle through which information flows. And some of the information that flows is not rooted in education. It's just something that I receive. So for those of you who understand astrology way more than I do, notice if, and I am recording this at the end, mid-January, and I know around the 20th or so, there is an eclipse. And this is an important time it is an important time in our history, or so I'm being asked to say, where majority of people, I believe, at least those who are listening, will either take advantage of this opportunity to break certain patterns and therefore heal, or will at least consider some things in your life that aren't working, and then decide to go through the steps in order to release yourself from it or release it away from you. And energetically, that could mean anything. Physically, that could mean anything. It means attachments. Let's call it that. And we have attachments to many things, and certainly we have attachments that are positive, that create positive experiences. But those are not the ones that I seem to be addressing right now. I am more addressing the attachments that seem to stand in your way of creating your happiness. So as luck would have it, my camera decided to stop working. And I know what's happening. I am being asked to get out of my comfort zone and start using some new equipment, which I have, but I am so used to doing it in a certain way. I am in my own habit. So this eclipse, I believe it is, is a great time for all of us, including myself, and I'm a Taurus, to break certain habits and certain patterns that are holding us back. But most importantly for you, we are talking about experiencing, emotionally speaking, the effects of healing one's heart, which ultimately brings us to a state of happiness and contentment. So what are we leaving behind? First and foremost, the number 2 is being signified. So February, well, February is the second month. So February is month number 2. There is a significance to you in February, and you guys do not have birthdays in February. So for whatever reason, February for many of you marks an end and marks a certain ending. And before some of you start going in your mind and thinking ending as a bad thing, no, I'm talking in terms of completion. And I'm going to leave it at that, and let's just move on. November also is being shown as something that's very important. And for some of you, something drastic happened in November. And I want to go to the end of November. For some of you, November 28th or beginning of December, particularly December 2nd. Okay, so this will mean something for some of you. Clearly, it's not going to be for everyone. But sounds like month of February, and for some of you March. Keep in mind, these messages will not be tied to the end of the month. They will transpire for some of you over the next few weeks or several months, but majority of you will know what this means in and around March or April. Anyway, for those of you who this makes sense in February, I feel that you will be completing a certain cycle. So, with having said all that, what is this month for you in terms of importance? What is it that it's really important for Capricorns to know? Integrity is key. Who do you stay true to? Do you stay true to yourself? Do you stay true to somebody else? Do you stay true to your fears? Do you stay true to your happiness? Where is your integrity? Do you give yourself away because you believe that if you do, something else is going to come to you, but all you do is experience more of lack? Who you choose to be in terms of you accepting yourself fully, including the aspects of you you may not like, until you begin the process of integration where all aspects of you become one and the same. You will always feel like you are searching for something you seem to be unable to get, because whatever it is that you are searching for, you seem to be rejecting. Interesting. Except logically, we don't see this. I'm just being shown this from a different perspective. So that's actually quite interesting. So let's see if we can unfold with this and see what happens. What are we leaving behind? Well, let's just see. 2 of Pentacles and 6 of Wands, let's put it this way, landed in this position. So for those of you who know me, who have listened to me for a while, I do not consider myself a tarot reader. I never did, and I probably never will. It's not one of my gifts. I am learning to interpret what some of the cards mean, but I get different visions and feelings from tarot. So for some of you, this may mean something other than what I say. What I get from this is some of you are sitting on a decision that you needed to make. And I feel this transpired either some time ago or you are still in the process of deciding. This is for some of you a financial decision where you do not know where to put all your eggs. And you know the saying, all eggs in one basket? I feel the message here is do not put all your eggs in one basket. But it is important for you to understand what you are after. So this will mean many things. Let me just keep going. So it sounds like some of you were sitting on a choice or decision. For some of you, this was a choice or decision about needing to change jobs because wherever it is that you were involved with or attached to was not making you happy. For some of you, it is making a choice or having made a choice that ultimately will bring you into the feeling of victory and happiness. For some of you, you are hoping that whatever decision you made, either earlier this year or late last year, is going to produce positive results, even though temporarily it seems to be out of whack. So there seems to be some discomfort that you have experienced in the last little while, because it is leaving you. It is telling me that even if you are experiencing some decisions or needing to make decisions, it will be resolved in a fairly short order. Now, whether it will be resolved in the month of February, for some of you, yes. For some of you, not necessarily. I feel this is more a figure of speech where what you put into work now will bear fruit later, but you need to stay consistent. So whatever choice or decision you did make, and you guys made some choice or decision, it is an energy of earth, so it seems to be a physical thing. So this could be a financial decision, a decision to take a certain path, a decision to do things a certain way. For some of it's a decision to move. Oftentimes when we make a choice or decision, there is an initial discomfort at first. However, I feel this is leading you, most of you who will understand this, to a sense of greater fulfillment, or at least some sort of a long-term, not temporary, long-term internal peace. Because anything that we receive in terms of how we feel that is temporary, well, then we're going to end up chasing it again. So sometimes, in order to have a lasting effect of peacefulness inside, we need to make choices and decisions that at first are not very comfortable. And I said this before several times. Who says having power or being empowered or having the ability to make choices and decisions is easy? Sometimes we have to make tough choices and decisions that some people will not like. However, I feel some of you are moving through this already. In terms of what you might be experiencing in February, the cards that came through is Ten of Coins in reverse, and I asked for clarification. It's King of Swords. I have to remember it's a new camera. What I feel is that if you haven't already, you will experience a initial discomfort around a male in your life. Could be a female, but this is someone who is someone who chooses not to express their emotions. They're, for the most part, very analytical, someone who may be guarded, someone who avoids talking about their emotions. Some of you may experience discomfort around that person. Now, when I say discomfort, I want to say the word insecurity. So for some of you, this may connect to literally a boss, and you are in a situation where your job security is feeling a little bit threatened. That's not going to be for all of you. It's not even going to be for most of you. It's going to be for some of you. For some of you, this is a decision that you had to make around a person that fits this category, and this could be, or description, this could be male or female, where you may experience initial discomfort, initial lack of stability. Because there are finances tied to it, it may be that some of you are supporting someone financially, but I feel like there's something is missing. There is a short-term security, but long-term lack of abundance. What does that mean? Okay, for some of you, I feel like for some of you, rather than trying to help somebody financially, which of course you can, try to understand what the real problem is with this individual. Now, of course, if it's your boss, you're not going to waltz into your boss's office and say, hey, what's your problem? I want to help you. No, that's not the case. This feels to me family related or a close friendship or relationship. But at the end of the day, the message here is that you may feel slight discomfort in a month of February as a result of you having to have made certain choices or decisions because things were not working very well. Let's just move on into what this is leading to. Four of Coins is what comes up, and this is the initial stage of safety and security. This is our foundation. Again, you have a lot of earth energy. So for a lot of you, this is going to be around money or around people, property, physical things that we can touch. Physical things that we can touch. So several message came with this card, and that is that in the near future, I feel like someone is offering you a sense of security. So this may be for some of you that you are receiving a job offer or a financial offer, or someone is giving you financial help to help you stand on your own 2 feet or to help you stabilize yourself. For some of you, it is you feeling more safe and secure to the point where you can give more to others. In terms of it being in relationships, I feel that the initial discomfort of having to make a certain choice or decision will ultimately open you up to greater safety and stability within yourself, which then you will be able to allow to give that to others. So I have been reminded that we cannot give what we have, what we don't have, and we are all here to give. Every single human being is on this earth to give of themselves in terms of loving kindness, love, all that wonderful stuff. That's ultimately what holds us all together. That's the very fabric of who we are, is pure energy of love. So in terms of stability, I feel many of you are heading towards it in the near future. Again, I feel some of you experienced difficulties emotionally either some time ago or not so long ago. And whether it's last year or years and years ago, it has been affecting your inner sense of stability inside of yourself. And I feel that choice or decision is going to be made or had to be made in order to release yourself from someone or a rigid aspect of you. This can also represent your intellect, and you're choosing to get out of your head more and live in your heart. I'm hoping that's going to make sense. It should, technically. All right. Now, what might be tripping you up? So those are always the things that I'm interested in, because if I can give you an FYI, then when and if it appears in your life, you can kind of go back to this video and listen again and see if you can apply what's coming through. Alone time is what might be tripping you up. So for some of you, there is an indication that you may feel like you want to hide from the world. If you are not feeling safe and secure, if you have made a choice or decision that temporarily renders you uncomfortable, there may be a tendency for you to want to hide from the world or isolate yourself. Time alone is incredibly important when we are trying to figure out what's going on. So putting ourselves in situations where we can be with ourselves and clearly hear ourselves, and that comes with having time alone. That's a good thing, but there is a flip side of that, where when we hide in order not to deal with certain things, it becomes something that ultimately can be detrimental. So if there is a tendency for you to hide, if there's a tendency for you to say, no, thank you, I'm just going to stay home, see if, particularly in month of February, you can push through that feeling of wanting to be alone and go out of your comfort zone and be around people. Because the message that represents what is working for you is a rescue message, which is really interesting because this message in itself is about needing to be, allowing yourself to be vulnerable and ask for help. So this is a message for those of you who have difficulty asking for help, whether it be financial, whether it be emotional, whether it be physical, whatever it is. If you are someone who is extremely independent, you may feel like everything is on your shoulder. If you believe that that is the case, and if you believe that there is really no one out there to help you but you, then you will continually create that experience of lack of having your support system for you. So in the month of February, I want you to consider asking for help, whether it is calling up a friend and saying, hey, I'm kind of dealing with this. I just need to vent. Will you listen to me? Do that. If you need to go out dancing in order to relieve some of the discomfort that you're feeling because of whatever choices you have made in the past, despite the fact that you don't want to be seen, it's important for you to go out and be social. February being a social month anyways, because it is considered to be the month of love. There is no time like the present. But the important thing here about this message is that, and this is in a position of what's working for you. So there is support for you. All you need to do is ask. And some of you may be too proud to ask for help. Some of you may feel that if you do ask for help, you will be taken advantage of. Some of you feel that if you ask for help, you will be perceived as being weak. Not wanting to ask for help is really you trying to safeguard yourself from being vulnerable. I think I'm going to leave it at that because we already know that although nobody's advocating anyone going out on the street and expose your vulnerabilities, when we barricade ourselves to the point where we're trying to be so safe and so secure that we don't let anybody in, then that prevents many things. For one, you experiencing more pleasure in your life. Now, a couple of messages with regards to what are some of the, I asked for more information. I said, give me some guidance for them. Stand still and smoky mirror, two coming up in reverse position. So I'm going to talk about this card. So in a position of like this, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's time, it's stillness. But in this position, it is a couple of messages. Again, if you have a tendency to want to hide, then from your emotions or from your situations, this is one of those times where you may not be able to hide, or the message is maybe don't hide so much. Let me just see if there's more I can get from this. Overthinking. For some of you, you are in overanalyzing mode. You are trying to overthink things with your head rather than allowing yourself to tune in and listen to your emotions. The smoky mirror is about facing your dark side and not ignoring your dark side. When I say dark side, I mean the shadow aspect of ourselves, which each and every one of us has. And the shadow aspect may be an aspect of you that is afraid to receive. And perhaps that's why it's difficult for you to ask for help, because you believe there is no such thing as you receiving. Others do, but you don't. So that's one indication. The message around making sure that you balance yourself out between your analytical part and your emotional side and your emotional part, and find a space somewhere in between, and that's where your truth is, that's where your answer is. So it's not about being an emotional wreck, and it's also not about avoiding emotions. It's about finding the balance between the two. Some of you are trying really, really hard to deal with something in a very analytical way. And you are trying to do something about your situation. The message here is, rather than trying to avoid what you don't want, which is the doing, why don't you instead become the person you want to experience? In other words, if you are wanting to experience love, imagine what it would feel like if you were the one experiencing it, and what would be required of you in order to welcome it in. If you have difficulty asking for help, there are several reasons for that. A, you don't believe you can have it because it's been your experience. When you have it, people take advantage of you because that's been your experience. Or when you have it, then they take away, or there is an agenda, whatever, or you may feel you're not good enough. There's 1,001 ways how we perceive ourselves that blocks us from getting what we want. Temporarily, you may feel lack of clarity, but again, it is an initial discomfort. The other thing I'm looking at, which is always something that I get excited about, is the Tree of Life. Now, it's shown to me in reverse. I don't necessarily see this card in reverse or upright. To me, this is an indication that a massive karmic pattern is wanting to be released. However, I do feel that for some of you, there is a tradition of doing certain things in certain ways, and although the need to release that is there, but there may be lack of trust towards something different, or lack of trust in one's faith that if they let this go, something else, something better will come into their life. So what often happens is when we attach ourselves to something and we have proof over and over that whatever we're attached to is true, letting go of that is very difficult because it's something that we actually depend on. It is, like anything, we depend on a certain way to feel in order to make us remember that we are who we are. If you were to wake up the next morning and not having any memory of who you were the day before, energetically speaking, that would be such a heavy hit on your system that majority of us would end up in a mental hospital. In other words, you would go insane. So it's a process. It happens over time. And the message here is release your fears about the future. When we hold on to the fear of what we may not have in the future, we are constantly bringing that more to us. And although I'm sure many of you have heard this many times before, this is just another way of saying you can have what you want, but in order for you to have what you want, you have to let go of the resistance to it. Now, why would we want to resist something we want? Quite simple. If we've never experienced true love and we always experience lack of it, we will resist true love because to us it means it's not possible. It's not possible. It hurts. It's ugly. People cheat on me. So you naturally will have a tendency to push it away. I really feel for those of you who have difficulty asking for help and feel like the world is on their shoulders. Look deep inside your lives, deep inside yourself, and look in your history in your life and notice, where does this belief come from? As long as you adhere to a certain belief, you will keep on creating more of the same, because you cannot create something you do not believe exists. Whether it's love, whether it's financial security and safety, whatever it is, you're after a feeling, you're after an emotion. Number 7, yes. But also, one more thing. Your thoughts and your beliefs create your future. So make sure you know what you are creating. Make sure you know what seeds you are planting, and that will give you an indication what will be birthed into life later. Release is the word for you guys in February for the several months. And I also want to say congratulations. Some of you have been doing a lot of hard work, and that wasn't easy, whether it is work on yourself, work with somebody else. Hard work is being implied here. And when you look at yourself a year ago or 2 years ago, chances are 99.99999% of you will notice there is a considerable difference between your versions. It's time to pat yourself on the back, because it's important. Why is it important? Because you acknowledging yourself for the work that you do creates a sense of inner abundance. And when we are filled with abundance inside, we naturally create more of that experience. It's natural law. It cannot cease to exist. So I'm going to leave that with you. Again, number 7, and that's to me enlightening, enlightenment. So notice if number 7 means something to you, or perhaps the month of July. I wish you best of luck. I wish you a wonderful month of February. Keep in mind that if this doesn't make sense to you right away, it will absolutely make sense to you, to like literally 95% of you, over the next 2 or 3 months. Please comment. I love to hear and see your comments. I read every single one of them. And of course, for private sessions, that information is down below. I wish you best of luck. Happy Valentine's Day if you are celebrating. And until next time, see you soon.